The oldest Mayan city, to our knowledge, is Tikal. Tikal is in today's Guatemala. And Tikal was probably founded 1,000 years BC. Just remember, ancient Rome in Europe was founded 700 BC. So this Tikal, city of the Maya, is even older than ancient Rome in Europe. And Tikal lays on a place where nobody understands why. You see, when a tribe is traveling and when they decide to construct a city with some pyramids and temples, they always settle on a place where is water, because humans need water. Water for drinking, water for working, water for their construction, etc. But in Tikal, there is no water. Absolutely. No river, no creek, nothing. The next water is a lake, the Chichen Itza Sea, about 40 kilometers away. So the question first is, why did the tribe of Maya decide to settle down on a place and to construct their biggest and oldest city on a place without water? What is the reason for it? And here I have some idea. In our time, we have many so-called pilgrim places, especially in the Catholic religion. For example, Fatima in Portugal, or Lourdes in France, or Guadalupe in Mexico. These are holy places. Why? Because always someone from out there, mostly Mother Mary, descended, and children said, they were here, I saw them here, exactly here. So the place becomes a holy place, and the people decide to make their construction, their church, on that place where they had their vision. Now in Tikal, archaeologists found a little inscription in Maya language. It says, here the gods from heaven descended. Which gods? So I asked myself, was it like today on our pilgrim places? They constructed Tikal because there, sometime, a god descended. Now, because they had no water. I said, the nearest water is the lake Chichen, 40 kilometers away. So they had to make water, artificial water drains. So the water, they come to Tikal. In Tikal, we have more than 60 pyramids. Most of them are orientated archaeologically. The biggest pyramid, still today, is open for tourism. You can look up there to the sky, and we don't know what for these pyramids were. Normally, we say, for example, in Egypt, the pyramids were made because they were tombs for the gods or for the pharaohs, but not in Tikal. No tombs were found, no graves, nothing. So we don't understand. You say maybe they used to construct high pyramids just to overlook the forest, you know, the jungle, that they can be connected with the stars. But why then so many pyramids? 60 of it in one place. Why not only 2 or 3? We don't have the answer for it. In Tikal, for example, we have many steles. Steles are stone blocks, mostly about 2.5 meters high, with engravings and chiselings on it. And one of these steles shows the first and the oldest god. You see some human being, the head is cut off. You don't see the head, but you see the chest, 2 hands, and he's holding something between his fingers. And then you see his legs and his shoes. Normally the Mayas had no shoes at all. They had naked feet or sandals. But this kind of shoes look like the shoes of an extraterrestrial. And in the center you see something going down like a spiral, making a curve, going into a basket or into a box. So probably they represented in that way the oldest god who descended to them in Tikal. One of the next city of Tikal is Tulum. Tulum is located on the Caribbean Sea. And the city of Tulum was just honored to the descending gods. Every temple in Tulum shows a descending god which means in practice, you see a stone, you see something, some human beings, the head in front, then their legs, spread legs, they are lying on something like a bobsled. They are descending from the heaven. Today, archaeologists call these descending gods the gods of the bees. But every normal being had nothing to do with bees. Especially, the whole city of Tulum is dedicated to descending gods. And you see these figures who came down from heaven, often with wings on, with technological stuff in their hand. You see them only also in Chichen Itza and in other Maya places. Whole Maya land was dedicated to the god. One of the most known god of the Maya was Quetzalcoatl. And Quetzalcoatl was described, he was coming from the morning star. He taught the human. He taught them in astronomy and other belongings, including construction of buildings. And before he left, Kukulkan promised to return one day. Now, Kukulkan, Quetzalcoatl is all the same figure, just with different names. You know, in the lower land, the Mayas called him Kukulkan. In the higher land, they called him Quetzalcoatl. It's always the same figure. Our archaeologists today, because they don't believe in extraterrestrials, they don't want to have to do with some humans or human-like figures descending as teachers from heaven, they call these descending gods the bees. But in reality, a bee is an insect. The gods which are chiseled in stone in Tulum, in Chichen Itza, have nothing to do with bees. And you see descending human-like beings with some kind of technical apparatus in their hands. But archaeologists call it the descending bees, which in my opinion is absolutely ridiculous. It had nothing to do with bees. Our archaeologists will have to change their mind sooner or later. Well, the technology compared to Egypt is partly primitive. In Egypt, the pyramids were constructed out of big blocks, huge blocks, sometimes 2.5 tons or even more. But in Central America, including in Tikal, the pyramids are constructed out of small blocks, just piece by piece. So it was not a very high advanced technology. But in Egypt, for example, on the pyramid, there are no sculptures, no writings, nothing is chiseled on the wall of the pyramids. Why? The pyramids in Central America, they are full with chiselings, with representations of their descending gods. This is something absolutely sensational, the pyramid of Chichen Itza. And I suggest every tourist, when you come to Mexico, visit Chichen Itza, and if you have a chance, be there in the early morning of March 21st. You see, the pyramid of Chichen Itza is constructed of 9 different steps. It's a step pyramid. One step smaller to the other. And the pyramid is located in a way, astronomically, that every 21st of March, some miracle happens there. You see the sun is going up, and because of the construction of the 9 steps, because of the astronomical orientation, you see a god or a snake composite of light and shadow going slowly down the step, slowly down. And by the way, on the staircase, left and right, is the so-called winged snake, the flying snake. So you see on 21st of March, in the early morning, you see light and shadow, slowly going down the stairways, exactly on the back of the winged snake. And on the 21st of September, you see it the opposite. This time, when the sun goes down, the light and shadow climbs up the stairs and finally disappears. The situation which they have shown, the Maya constructors, in their astronomy, is sensational. They prove in the building, in the pyramid, some god descended. He was teaching the humans for a few years, and he disappeared again with the promise to return in a faraway future. Chichen Itza is an absolute must for every tourist in Mexico. The Maya adored the gods Quetzalcoatl or Kukulkan, which is the same, just a different name. And Quetzalcoatl or Kukulkan was always represented as a snake with wings. Now the Maya were natural people. They knew that the snake cannot fly. Why do they show a snake with wings? I suggest because they saw on the sky, they saw some flying machines, and they looked like a snake. It was a little long, and a snake can fly, so they put wings on it. That's why Quetzalcoatl the god, or Kukulkan the god, is represented in the Maya temple, in the sculpture, as a winged snake. Our ancestors, including the Maya in Central America, their first religion was natural religions. They were afraid of the nature, of the lightning, of the thundering, of the earthquake, of the volcanic eruptions, etc. But then the gods descended. In Maya land, Quetzalcoatl or Kukulkan, represented as a winged god. Where is the difference between Quetzalcoatl, Kukulkan, the winged god, and the natural catastrophes, like the earthquake, the lightning coming down? They were teachers, the gods who descended from the sky.